Welcome to the Jeanneau 54. I'm Scott Rocknak, and today we're going to do a thorough walk around and walk through of the Jeanneau Yacht 54. This boat has several unique features and innovations. One of the latest designs from Jeanneau, this is a boat designed to be handled either by a couple or even single-handed. The deck design is clean, and like all Jeanneaus, the lines are brought back to the helms. There are 4 interiors available for the boat, ranging from full family to a couple to even a charter situation with tremendous capability and the possibility of having a cabin all the way up in the forepeak for a captain. There are 2 keel options, 5'9" or 7'4". There was a considerable amount of thought that was put into the deck layout of the Jeanneau 54. Now we'll review several of the smaller items. The anchor windlass is a capstan over a gypsy to control 2 different anchors on the built-in rollers. They're stainless steel. There is a road locker underneath of the windlass as well as a anchor locker to starboard. Okay, aft there's a space here for a cushion, which is optional. It's inset and has its own drains, and with the cushion you could also get a cover for lounging, and it's a great place to have your own space aboard the boat. Moving further aft, you can see the decks are wide. The teak option that's on this boat is a glued down option. There are no screws going through it, so there's no deck penetrations of any kind of fasteners. The Jenneau tracks are inboard, allowing for easy tight sheeting inside of the outboard shrouds. There is an upper and a lower with swept-back spreaders, allowing you to have just two shrouds. All the deck hatches aboard the 54 are custom Lumar heavy-duty hatches that are all mounted flush. Here we can see how the halyards and control lines are all led aft underneath of the shroud, and the boat has a German-style setup of a continuous line main sheet system. This boat has the roller furling mast. The jib furler line is one of the few lines that actually travel across the deck without being covered by a shroud. The stanchions are full height, good for offshore, stainless steel non-coated lines. And on all the bulwarks are Wishard pad eyes used for holding fenders so the line doesn't travel across the deck, or you don't have to put it on the lifelines. We see a ample-sized midship cleat, drains for the deck, fuel and water fills that are open with the winch handle, and there's also a boarding ladder on the port side we see here. The handrails on the boat are all stainless steel, and they travel all the way forward. In addition, there's also a finger hold on the shroud that also moves all the way forward to where the deck slips down to the foredeck. This handrail is the one that's most furthest aft before you get to the dodger. The main sheet system on the boat is set up so there is a line going to each helm, port and starboard, very easy to control. And it is color coded, and you can see how the system is rigged to travel the boom and go down to the base of the mast, and then goes underneath of the shroud going aft, and controlling a mainsail that is both powerful and fairly straightforward to use, especially with the optional reversing electric winches available on the boat. Optional on the 54 is the forepeak cabin. There's plenty of room in here. Here we see the head, there's a shower, a sink, and as we get down into the cabin itself, there is an up and down berth, a full length, on both the up and down side, storage, removable cushions, overhead lamps throughout the cabin. This is a view of the holding tank that's forward for the head itself that has an inspection port, and is the kind that is above the waterline and can drain overboard by opening the valve. The forepeak is one of the few places on the boat where you can actually see some of the construction. Here we have a tab over for the bulkheads, high-tech cloth, all a resin-infused system, and there's an inner liner overhead that's removable. Again, the boat is not cored, so you won't have any water migration issues later. And we can also see how the longitudinal stringers are in place and the grid is tied to the hull itself, which is a unique Jeanneau feature. The access to the forepeak cabin is by getting up on the deck and moving forward. So this is more of an in-port kind of cabin, but it's also a great place to store all the cushions that are on the boat. The 54 meets the challenge of being able to be handled by a couple or even a single-hander, but yet still have a cockpit big enough to entertain several people at one time and feel that they have their own space. The magic really comes together with the 54, and you really need to get aboard the boat to see it. This is a very unique feature that has lounge seats forward with no winches or cleats near you. The table itself has a storage locker in the middle that's good for holding, say, a chart that you're using during the day. It'd be a good idea for it to be in plastic when you do that. And then forward is a icebox, again for day drinks and so forth, with some cup holders and a drain. The table has solid teak fold-up leaves. The cockpit table has a cabinet aft, and here we see just some life jackets and a horn. Just aft of the companionway on the bridge deck is a shallow storage locker. Just forward of the helm station, you can see a hatch here. That's a shallow area that is for storage of lines. Center line behind the helms is access to the generator. Here we see where the lines underneath the shroud go to an array of clutches, to one of 2 winches on either side, electric or not. It allows full control of the boat from the helm station, or if you wish, just forward of the helm station for a crew member. The starboard helm has the tachometer, and it has a digital and analog readout. The digital will show various data, such as engine temperature. Between the 2 helms is a hydraulically operated deck that goes down to become a swim platform and reveals an area that, one, exposes the generator, but also allows a lounge area with custom cushions that sit here for 2 people to face aft in a chaise lounge type situation. And with a push of a button, it comes right back up again and forms the rest of the deck. Unique to the 54 are the retracting and tilting davit system for the dinghy. When retracted, they're barely visible on the transom. Shown here are the multi-spoke carbon fiber steering wheels. The starboard helm has the anchor line counter, the windlass control, and the one-arm bandit, which is the throttle control. So again, you have control of your throttle, your gear, your sails, plotter, compass, autopilot, depth sounder, knot meter, air instrument, windlass, and bow thruster, all from the helm. The portside helm repeats the multi-display, which would be the depth sounder and the knot meter, the compass, and the multifunction display, which would be a radar and GPS plotter. The 54s have a unique aft seat for the helmsman. There's a spring-loaded arm that comes down that holds the seat, but when you do sit, there is a backrest with the rails, and of course a fold-down cushion. Starboard side has a symmetrical locker to the port side with a locking hasp. Open the hasp, and you have a hydraulically assisted hatch. And here you have another deep locker. We have access to various plumbing and exhaust ports. And then forward there will be a quadrant access area. And you have ample access to any of the mechanicals that you would normally need, and some of the electrical. Here's a primary fuel filter, Having a flip-up seat is really handy because it allows a full-size hatch to access the areas on both port and starboard. And here we'll see that the boat actually is in service. It has a hose and an anchor sitting in here, but at the bottom of the screen you see the autopilot arm, and there's some ventilation hoses and other open storage areas. Thank you very much for watching, and please see my other videos on the Jeanneau 54 and contact me if you're interested in this boat.